Oh, hello everyone.
Everybody.
Happy Wednesday night. Right here, Shawn.
How's things going, Adam?
Uh, things are okay. We're going to
Yeah.
talk some records. Did you bring some
Oh, you
records?
did another buyback?
Huh?
Did you do another buyback?
Man, I got so many records. I got a price.
I guess that's a good problem to have. At least you got inventory.
Well, it doesn't sell if it's not there in the bins. That's for sure. But
Yeah.
I gotta make it happen. Yeah, I've been watching records and listening to records. But anyway, did you bring some records too?
Oh yeah, I brought some records too.
You got some records?
I got some records, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff I brought is just maybe some new arrivals and some newish releases that I've been digging on and lately. So
dig on it. Are you digging on the Harry Styles?
It's funny that you mentioned that.
Hey, Bob.
I haven't actually listened to the record, but there is a remix of one of the singles off of that album that's getting a lot of play on the SiriusXM Chill channel.
Hey, Chris.
And I love that remix. So,
hey, Adam. You can say hey to people too, Shawn.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have YouTube up. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, let's go ahead and mute yourself so you won't have a.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So that Harry Styles coming out Friday. I've been getting so many emails about that, not from customers, but from distributors in the label. I hope it's going to be as big as they say it's going to be.
We'll see.
Yeah. Hello, Fanatic Card Guru. Good to see you tonight. Good to see everybody tonight.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Card Guru, Adam, Chris. Hey, what's up, Bob? Good to see you. One of my fellow jazz buds decided to come in. Excellent. So,
what's that 7-inch up there? All the way to the right. What's that first one? What's that first 7? That's the one I want to see.
This one? Right here?
Yes, that's the one I want. No, just the first one. No, just the first one.
Oh, no. You can't do just the first one.
Yes. Hey, Elliot.
It's J&K. It's J.J. Johnson and Kai Winding. These were a set of 3 7-inches with just different color art. And these are some great jazz that came out on Savoy years ago. So,
did you get one of those from me?
I did get one of them from you.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I was going to say I've had that before.
Oh yeah.
I think he was in the 70s adult movies. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I love Jay and Kai. I mean, I love trombone in jazz. I mean, I'll listen to J.J. Johnson, Kai Winding, Curtis Fuller. I'll listen to those guys all day long, man. But
Ellie asks, "Who the heck is Harry Styles?" He was in a band called One Direction. I don't know if One Direction is still around or not, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, wait for him to get about 20 years older, and then they'll pull in New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys and start touring again and watching 40-something-year-old women squeal like schoolgirls in the audience again.
Who was larger, One Direction or what did you say?
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys.
I don't know, man. That's tough. I mean, One Direction. I guess I was probably more in tune with the craze over the Backstreet Boys because, like, was he the actor from Spinal Tap? But I was probably more in tune to the Backstreet Boys craze because that was more with people my age, whereas One Direction was sort of later. So I honestly don't know because, by the time One Direction came around, I was in my 20s and couldn't have cared less. So, I was almost 30. So.
Adam says we need a One Direction animated series. All right. Backstreet bigger.
Hey, it worked for the Beatles, right?
I don't know if it worked, but it happened.
No, it happened, yeah.
I think I was more aware of Backstreet because it wasn't that it was on my radar. It's just that it was around me.
Yeah, right.
And by the time One Direction hit the scene, they were real popular, but then they have a little bit of an emo feel to them.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
I wasn't in the emo, so maybe that was just out of there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe one or two singles. I mean, I think the only One Direction song that I know, like by name, that I could just reel off the top of my head is "You Don't Know You're Beautiful." But and I know they had more hits than that, but that's the one that I always associate with them.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, TARDIS. Hey, now, just came in as you were talking about J and K. Love them. Stone Bone. Great album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You kids had animated, as well as Menudo had an animated. Well, there you go.
Menudo did? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I never cared much for the group, but I do like the Menudo soup that you get at Mexican restaurants. Menudo is awesome. It's a shame most Mexican restaurants on the East Coast don't serve it. You can get it at any Mexican restaurant on the West Coast, but not so much here. I found one taco truck in Apex that has Menudo on Friday and Saturday only.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So there's a wonderful taco truck on Capitol Boulevard. So basically we're talking the equivalent of Bobby Sherman and Shawn Cassidy and the Bay City Rollers. Maybe. I like the Bay City Rollers. I think they got some good. They're almost power pop.
Every time somebody mentions the Bay City Rollers, I just go back to Dennis Leary's No Cure for Cancer album, where he said, and you know what hell is, folks? It's Andy Gibb singing Shadow Dancing for eons and eons, and you have to wear orange plaid bell bottoms and sit next to the Bay City Rollers.
I like the Bay City Rollers.
I actually don't know much of their music, so I really can't judge. But
yeah, anybody here can help me? I mean, don't they have a little bit of a power pop to them? Bay City Rollers. I know they were super popular and super poppy sounding, but anyway,
you're not the first person I've heard say that the Bay City Rollers almost had a little bit of the feel of like the Raspberries kind of thing, you know, that early kind of power pop type sound. You're not the first person I've heard say that.
Yeah, they were very good. Keith Partridge in the mix, perhaps?
No.
Yeah. Show a record, Shawn. Show a record.
I discovered this recently. It came out in 2016. This is an artist that I've heard on the radio a bit by a artist called Lapsley. It's called Long Way Home. This I absolutely adore this album. It's kind of like soulful but a little bit on the electronic side. But God, her voice is just so soulful. Very, very nice. Love it. Been playing this a lot since I saw them in concert not too long ago at the Ritz in Raleigh, but the latest Exodus album, Persona Non Grata. Mm-hmm. This is probably the coolest vinyl, like colored vinyl I have, or, you know, like I'll just show it. This is the it's fire vinyl. That's pretty cool. I like that. I'm not much of a colored vinyl guy, but I couldn't pass this up. Like that is really cool. So
let's see the back of it, the back side of the vinyl.
Backside of the vinyl is just same thing, a little bit more yellow.
Yeah, more yellow. Oh, yeah, it looks quite different. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Well, I was going to ask a similar question, Chris, but Chris is Exodus from NKOBT by?
Yeah, actually, Exodus was this really great boy band that used to get girls that would probably scream louder than the Beatles. So yeah, man, you know, they totally weren't thrash or anything like that. You know, they never, you know, they don't have long hair and sing about demonic things. And no, that's oh man, they're totally totally a boy band.
I'm gonna grab some records. Keep on showing if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. So I've also really been grooving on the latest album from the War on Drugs. It's called "I Don't Live Here Anymore." If you like any of the War on Drugs previous albums, Slave Ambient or Lost in the Dream or Deeper Understanding, you'll like this. It's really that simple. You know, these guys have their sound. They know how to do it, and they do it well. So it's excellent. You know, if you've never heard the War on Drugs, I kind of liken them to a mix of Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, and Dire Straits. Like they have that kind of cold, somber sound of Dire Straits with, lyrical subjects that probably wouldn't be out of place in a Tom Petty song. And a lot of times the lead vocalist has a Dylan-esque quality to him. So, the War on Drugs is a great band, great sound, and all their albums are fantastic. This album's becoming the there you go. Yeah, Bob, I don't think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Rico would probably be more than happy to color on one of my jazz albums with a crayon, but yeah, I'm not really feeling that. I think people are sick of seeing everybody talking about this album online and posting pictures of it, but I've been grooving the hell out of it. This debut album from Wetlake, I mean, I don't see why people hate this record. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic.
I don't want to talk about those people.
Huh?
I don't want to talk about those people. Question for you, Shawn?
No, I didn't, Adam. Honestly, I mean, I like Kiss, but they're not a show that I've ever really felt the need to go see. And I've got so many concerts lined up this summer and into the fall that, I couldn't make it work. I mean, I know this might be their last tour and all, but considering that I think Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley have set up their estates to be able to franchise the Kiss brand after they're gone, so that bands can continue to tour as Kiss. I don't think we've seen the last Kiss tour. Maybe we've seen the last of Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, but you never know. When they're 80 years old and still kicking and they go on a cocaine-fueled binge or something, they might say, hey, man, let's go tour again.
We'll have an East Coast Kiss and a West Coast Kiss. Paul will be on one, Gene will be in the other.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, I mean, hey, I know I've cracked this joke before, but it bears repeating, man. I knew that COVID was a serious, serious, serious matter the minute that Kiss canceled paid meet and greets. Because, I mean, how bad do things have to be for Gene Simmons to turn down money?
Yeah. I want to know what the big D is. Diploma, dulcimer, duck calls.
The big D.
Big D, big D. I missed that one, Chris.
That's not what I would usually think of when I think of Big D, but that's okay. All right.
Dschneider?
Another newish release that really, really been enjoying lately is this EP from Holly Humberstone called The Walls Are Too Thin. Excellent. Like good kind of alternative type sound. Oh,
Wet song.
Yeah, I think you know exactly what Big D is in the Wet Leg song.
Yeah.
That song doesn't leave much to the imagination, Chris.
I'm going to show this one. So Elliot said it earlier, the DBs. This is the DBs 6-pack special. 6 7-inch records with a bonus, sorry to say floppy, but a bonus flexi. In this particular flexi, there was 2 different flexis, but this is the one that has Robin Hitchcock on it.
Very nice.
So that is kind of cool.
I love Robin Hitchcock.
I do too. I like I like it when he's more psychedelic.
Yeah. He did a lot of work with Peter Buck of REM back in the day too, and maybe he still does. But yeah, Peter Buck and Robin Hitchcock put out some great stuff together. So, anybody that knows my musical taste also knows that I like down tempo electronic type music. Chill stuff. Deep house, down tempo. I love that stuff. And one of the bands that really sort of helped. So, I mean, the band that's widely considered to have created the down-tempo genre single-handedly by themselves is Air, the French band with their album in 1998 called Moon Safari. But there was another band that sort of, treaded the line a little bit between down-tempo and almost trip-hop. It's a group called Thievery Corporation. And they still put out new music to this day. Their first record, I think, came out in 99. But anyway, lately I've managed to find a few Thievery Corporation albums on vinyl. This is probably pound for pound their best records, called The Richest Man in Babylon. And what's funny is this is a 4 LP set, and the grooves are the original copies, right? Or like this one, are a 4 LP set, and the grooves are spaced so far apart. I have never heard a slab of vinyl with such thick bass as that album. Like that, this 4 LP set is a DJ's dream. It sounds so good. And I mean, we're talking like 4 to 5 minutes aside on 12-inch vinyl, because the grooves are spaced so far apart, and it's at 33. So, I mean, they could have put a lot more, but they decided to just space the grooves out and put it on 4 LPs. It's awesome. It sounds amazing. Another one of their albums that I've always really loved is called The Cosmic Game. Mm-hmm. And this is another favorite of mine. And this one was really interesting and got a little bit of it was one of those things that fans either really loved or hate. It's called Sodad, and this is like an electronic bossa nova record, and they did it in the format of like an old Blue Note album. It's got a slick pasted on the back. It's a nice tip-on jacket and everything, and you can see they kind of laid the liner notes out like the old jazz records used to. And yeah, this is, I guess the best way to describe it would be like electronic bossa nova. And it's really good. I like it, but there were a lot of fans that were kind of like, what in the hell is this? And then the last album of theirs that I'm going to show is their latest record, I believe. It's from 2017. It's called The Temple of I and I. And this one was kind of refreshing, because throughout Thievery Corporation's career, they've always mixed in a lot of elements of reggae in their stuff, but never really went like fully head on into it until this record. They went to Jamaica, they recorded it there, and they went all in on the reggae, and the results were really, really good. There are some kick-ass tracks on this.
Very cool.
Yeah. You got some other stuff?
Yeah, I sure do. As everything falls to the ground or to the floor. I love it when I get,
good night, Bob.
Power Pop. Hey, good night, Bob. Power Pop. Strictly Romantics Personal.
Oh, there you go.
I've never had this record. It's very good. Part of this record reminds me so much of Replacements.
Yeah, I don't see that very often at all.
Yeah, so this was a really cool find. Was able to play it, and it plays great.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I like Synthesizer Rush, but it was cool to get this one in. And I listened to it's Rush.
Archives. Oh, Rush Archives. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's got, the first record on there, first, second, and third record on there.
Yeah.
Cool little set.
Very cool.
I hadn't heard the first one in a while. You can go ahead and show something. I can show something a little later.
Yeah, I love 80s Rush. I think pound for pound, my favorite Rush album, truth be told, is probably Hold Your Fire from 1987. I love that record so much. That and Power Windows. I love 80s Rush. Given the choice between 70s and 80s Rush, I'm going to pick 80s every day of the week. And in some circles, that's a controversial opinion, but I don't think that's nearly as controversial of an opinion among people who don't yet have to schedule a yearly colonoscopy. So,
Hold Your Fire was the tour. The only time I saw Rush, it was that tour that I saw him.
Oh, Hold Your Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet that was a great tour.
Yeah, it was.
I think you and I talked about that show. You said they had stuff like flying around the audience and things, right? Or that the speakers,
the sound.
Yeah, okay. I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
The world is. They go, wow. It was awesome.
So, new arrival to the shelves. Long time coming. Finally grabbed a U.S. original copy of this. For the longest time, I've had a Columbia House pressing, a U.S. Columbia House pressing from the 90s. And I hated that pressing because it was mastered. Well, first off, it didn't come with the custom inner sleeve. The Columbia House version came in just a plain white, holeless inner sleeve, like so many Columbia House albums did. So, there were no photos, no credits, no anything. But the biggest thing about that Columbia House version that really drove me nuts was the fact that it was mastered so quiet that I had to listen to it about 10 to 12 dB higher than my normal listening volume. And that gets annoying because... Oh, man. Ouch. Yikes. But man, that's tough. But that Columbia House pressing is mastered so quiet, I had to listen to it like 10 to 12 dB higher than just about any other record I had. And when you have to do that, a lot of times when the music's mastered that quiet, you can start hearing needle rumble in the grooves. And anytime there's a little pop or something, it's just super, super loud. And that Columbia House pressing is absolute garbage. And so luckily, I was able to get a pretty good deal, a really great deal actually, on this, cash and trade kind of thing. And the jacket is a little bit worn. It's got it's got some edge wear and things on it, but the vinyl is clean. It sounds great. That's what matters in the end. Still displays pretty nice. So perfectly happy with this one. Especially considering what mega nice, super clean copies go for on the used market. And then another Nirvana record recently, a U.S. original of In Utero. This is the U.S. copies. Now this one is super nice, but the original U.S. copies came on clear vinyl, which I thought was cool, and it sounds fantastic. Going back to Nevermind for a minute, I mean, when it comes to Nirvana, I mean, I know they were the most popular of the grunge bands, but of all of the big grunge bands that sort of became the face of that genre, when you think of Nirvana and Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, right? I kind of feel like Alice in Chains was probably the best of those bands, even if they weren't at the commercial stature of Nirvana. But I think Nirvana was proof of the old saying that sometimes you don't have to be the best. Sometimes it's better to just be first. And Nirvana was sort of that band that caught lightning in a bottle, and they happened to be the one that everyone latched onto. And I mean, I like those Nirvana records just fine. I kind of hate what they did to rock and roll, though, because I feel like once grunge took hold and then nu metal and all of the hard rock that came out in the 2000s and the 2010s, it made it so that it wasn't fashionable anymore to have fun in rock and roll, right? Like fun partying type lyrics, sleazy type stuff. It wasn't that anymore. It all became about, it all became very serious and, all about, introspection and how messed up I am and how messed up this is or whatever. And it's angry. And I like that stuff when I'm in a certain mood, but I can't listen to that stuff all the time. If I did, it messes with my psyche if I listen to it all the time. So, and I feel like Nirvana was really the start of a big shift in rock and roll, in the lyrical subjects and the whole vibe of rock and roll. And for that reason, I've always been a little bit ambivalent about Nevermind, because as an album, I love to listen to it. I love the music. But I don't like the baggage that it comes with, That's my own take anyway.
Mudhoney.
Oh yeah.
I love me some Mudhoney.
Oh yeah, I love Mudhoney. So Adam, let me ask you a question. Well, first off, do you have this isn't the question I was going to ask you, but do you have anything else you want to show right now?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's do it.
Never had this one walk into the shop, so I had to play it, and I love it.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that. I've never seen that. I don't know what that is.
It's Andreas Goldenwilder, and CBS. Some people could consider it a type of classical music. Some people would consider it
Wow, the
Anyway,
Afghan Wigs, Chris. There's a band I haven't thought about in 20 years.
L7.
Man, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to them again. God, I haven't listened to the Afghan Wigs in decades.
Yeah. Yeah. So there were many more bands that were doing similar grunge sounds before Nirvana hit the scene.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then I love it when I get a clean cover of something. And it's just so neat to see this cover so clean.
You know, if you were to ask me what the hardest early Van Halen record is to find clean, I would probably say Diver Down. I don't know why, because I know Diver Down wasn't like one of their most popular records because it was mostly covers. But yeah, man, I never find those clean. I mean, even my copy's a generous VG.
Well, and the other thing is like the cover is so powerful, and then when it has ring wear, it just distracts from it.
Yeah. Hey, Kurt, I didn't see you in there.
So Afghan Griggs used to play the brewery so many times, and I would drive by and see their names on the marquee.
I love the Afghan Wigs. I just haven't listened to them in so long.
Yeah.
All right. So, no, actually, I'm not going to go on, and because you probably have some more stuff you want to show. So
go ahead. I'll show later.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Adam, as a man who's been in the record store business for and buying and selling and trading records, let me ask you a question. What's harder to find? Early pressings of Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon that has both posters and both stickers? Or is it harder to find an early copy of Wish You Were Here that still has the postcard with it?
Postcard and black shrink.
Yeah, totally. So this
and what's even harder to find than any of that is black shrink that looks nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, usually that black shrink wears off. I just cut the hype sticker out of the black shrink on this copy, but it took me forever to find a copy of Wish You Were Here that that had the postcard.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't know to look.
Yeah. Well, and what was funny was I thought this copy didn't have the postcard until I happened to look under the shrink wrap because it still had the black shrink wrap on it. I looked under I saw something move under the shrink wrap, and I looked, there was a postcard. I'm like, okay, cool.
There you go.
Speaking of albums that it's really hard to find complete, I found this the other week when I went back to California. Found this in my hometown. A very clean, very nice copy of Kiss Unmasked. And, you know, I know some people like this record. Some people hate it. I kind of fall solidly in the middle. I think there's some really good tracks on here. I think there are some that are solidly like me. But the good tracks on this are really, really good. So, I mean, to me, it's worth owning. But it's still got the original, like, black inner sleeve with it. And it's still got the merch form. And it still has the gigantic, well, I wouldn't say gigantic, but large. Well, actually, yeah, it's trifold. Maybe it is gigantic. But it's still got this gigantic Kiss poster. So I don't think I've ever seen a... yeah, and you know, Adam, a lot of people like Unmasked, right? And a lot of people don't. Like I said, I mean, I'm solidly middle of the road on it. I mean, I don't hate it. It's certainly not my least favorite Kiss record. But I think there are some tracks that are solidly the, but the good tracks on this record are really, really good. So, and I think a lot of people that hate Kiss Unmasked hate it because of all of the baggage that it came with Peter Criss leaving around that time and being credited on the record, but not actually playing on it, but appearing in the music video for one of the songs. I think that was a whole big mess. So, yeah, I think the baggage around Unmasked plays into why some people don't like it. I'm going to take a minute to give a little bit of run to an old band from my hometown, Fresno, California, because back in the 90s when I was a teenager, I used to, so there was this band called Follies Pool, and they were from Fresno. They came out in the 70s. They put out their first record in 77. They were a popular club draw in California, in the Bay Area, LA. They got a lot of radio play in the Bay Area, LA, San Diego, but they just never hit nationally. They were a huge club draw, though, in California in the late 70s and into the early 80s. They put out their first record in 77. Then they didn't put out a second one until 87. And when I was a teenager in the 90s, going into used record shops around Fresno, I used to trip over Follies Pool records. I mean, every shop in town had five copies of each album. These days, they're actually kind of scarce and really hard to find, even in Fresno. And that always kind of surprised me. And these are actually selling for a little bit of coin now on Discogs, which I thought was really odd. But this is their first record, self-titled, called Follies Pool. It was released on Century Records in 1977. And the best way I could describe Follies Pool's sound would be sort of like easily digestible 70s rock, but with prog elements. So it's almost, there's flute in it. It's almost like America meets Yes and Jethro Tull. It's a very interesting sound. And I love that first record. This is the second album they did in 1987. And this one's called, Bathing Caps Required. I can never remember the name of this record. But this one is a little bit poppier sounding, but, it's got a little bit of that 80s production value, the 80s bombast, or however you want to describe it. But it's still a pretty solid record. I don't think it's as good as the first one. Taking 10 years off in between recording, kind of, and there were some membership changes and things like that. But this record's still pretty solid, but definitely not as good as the first one, I don't think.
So how are the prices locally in California for those records?
I got it for considerably less than I would have on Discogs. So on Discogs, those
online.
Excuse me?
Online.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry, online. Yeah. So online, you're gonna find that record probably for about anywhere from $60 to $80 in decent shape. The first record, especially. The second record, probably $40 to $50. And in California, I was able to get the first record for $30 and the second record for $15. So not bad.
Cool.
Yeah. And,
hey, Beth. Hey, Calvin. How are you?
Hey, Calvin. Hey, Beth.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then this is probably one of the best MTV Unplugged concerts of all time, right up there with 10,000 Maniacs and Nirvana and Alice in Chains. Bob Dylan brought his A+ game to this. I cannot believe what a great album this is. I will never get tired of listening to this. And, Dylan doesn't have a lot of gray area. People either love him or hate him. The man's an American treasure. He's one of the greatest lyricists ever. But
Bob with? I'm sorry. Was it Bob with guitar only?
Yes, it was. No, I'm sorry. No, he had a drummer at least with him, and he had a keyboardist for a little bit as some of those songs. But he didn't have a full band with him. But I've always been of the opinion that some of Bob Dylan's that the best versions of some of Bob Dylan's songs were done by other people. Right? Like I think Jimi Hendrix pretty much owned All Along the Watchtower. I don't think you'll ever top the Byrds version of Mr. Tambourine Man, or Sheryl Crow's version of Mississippi, or hell, even Adele did an amazing version of Make You Feel My Love. Bob's interpretations of his own songs are sometimes a little bit weird. And granted, I can cite some examples of the flip side too, right? Like I absolutely hate Guns N' Roses' version of Knocking on Heaven's Door. I think it's absolutely terrible compared to Bob Dylan's version. Bob Dylan's version is so delicate, and I mean, you feel that song when you listen to it. Guns N' Roses, whatever they decided to do to that, they ruined that song. So yeah, but I think plenty of people. Another great example was the Turtles version of "It Ain't Me, Babe." That they did a killer version of that. I don't think I've ever actually heard that, Adam. I don't know that I'd want to hear that.
There's lots of covers. That's for sure.
Yeah. What else you got?
I'm thinking of keeping this one.
What's that?
He vanished. Michelle's shocked.
Ooh.
Oh,
That
yeah,
come in a buyback?
It's very cool.
That come in a buyback?
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, I got in front of me. I got crates of gold. Just gotta have the time. And then, of course, this one's going out Saturday at 9 a.m. Folks, this is a first press of 5150.
Beautiful.
Which is kind of. I listened to this. I was like, I heard a lot of these songs on the radio. So
I think that cassette was probably in every glove box of a car that was owned by anyone between the ages of 18 and 25 in 1986. Yeah, I'm with you, Beth. I do too. I love Dylan's version of "Knocking on Heaven's Door." It's just so beautiful.
It was either in a Camaro or a Mustang, that's for sure. Yeah. Adam says I was on Stripped 95.
I may have to check that out then. If you tell me it's not that bad.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, 5150. I love that record so much.
Was that the first one with Sammy?
Yeah. Yep. First one with Sammy Hagar. Yep. And then after that, it was OU812, and then For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge and Balance.
There you go. Sammy.
And then wanted to talk a little bit just about some jazz records that I've been digging on recently that have totally been doing it for me. This one, Grant Green's Green Street. This is a guitar trio. So it's just... So, Chris, I agree with you. However, I think that's generational for me because, I was born in 1979. And so by the time I was around 11 or 12 was when For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge came out. And I can tell you that is the Van Halen record that like introduced Van Halen to my generation. Like every kid my age had For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. And, those songs like Right Now and Pound Cake, those were all over MTV, all over the radio. You just couldn't escape it, right? And so my whole stance on the David Lee Roth versus Sammy Hagar, Van Halen or Van Hagar debate for me has always been, and I mean, I don't think it's a hot take, but maybe it is. I think that Van Halen made better singles, but Van Hagar made better albums. So I think that if I'm going to just put on a Van Halen record to listen to start to finish, I'm probably going to put on a Sammy Hagar record. I feel like the albums pound for pound are better with Sammy Hagar. I think there are more quality tracks and they're just better to listen to start to finish. But that said, the Sammy Hagar years never had a Panama or a Hot for Teacher or an Eruption or a You Really Got Me, right? They never had just those pounding, really hard, awesome, amazing singles that would just rock your ass off like they did with David Lee Roth. So if you're a singles person, I can totally understand, liking David Lee Roth better. And again, sometimes it's not better to be better. Sometimes it's better to be first, right? But if you're going to listen to an album, I'm solidly in the Sammy Hagar camp when it comes to albums.
The visuals with David Lee Roth, those first few albums, the videos, the live concert footage, and I mean those visuals with David Lee Roth, and he was quite the showman. Oh, sure he was,
no doubt. Yeah, Van Halen's live shows from back then were the stuff of legend, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, Green Street. This, yes, Blue Note. Blue Note was the best for about 15 years, no doubt, between about 1955 and 1970. But yeah, Green Street. This is a guitar trio record. So it's Grant Green on guitar, Ben Tucker on bass, and Dave Bailey on drums. And I don't own a lot of guitar trio records, but this one is just amazing. You know, when you've had a rough day to just sit down and chill out. Awesome. I mean, Grant Green, I mean, that guy's guitar player, or, you know, that guy's guitar skills were, I think, you know, there were very few jazz guitarists that were better than Grant Green. I mean, maybe, well, definitely Kenny Burrell, but, you know, maybe Wes Montgomery, maybe Pat Metheny. But I would say if you're going to talk about Grant Green, Wes Montgomery, and Pat Metheny, you're talking pretty on par with each other. This is another one with, so this is one that I've been after for quite a while and finally found. So this has Jackie McLean on alto, Tina Brooks on tenor, Freddie Redd on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Louis Hayes on drums. Shades of Red by the Freddie Redd Quintet. This is amazing. This is one of those records where you can tell these guys just kind of caught lightning in a bottle. Like they were all just on fire the day they showed up for the recording session. I think this is probably one of the all-time great Blue Note sessions from that period. Unbelievable.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian.
And then
You may have been here earlier.
I pulled the wrong record. 1 second. Let's see. There we go. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah. 1576, not 1570. Let's see. Brian says Van Hagar for me. Yeah, I think I'm with you there, Brian. So this is another album by Sonny Clark. And this one actually has John Coltrane as a sideman on this session. It's got Donald Byrd on trumpet, Curtis Fuller on trombone, John Coltrane on tenor. How's that for a horn line? Donald Byrd, Curtis Fuller, and Coltrane. And then the rhythm section, Sonny Clark on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Art Taylor on drums. This is Sonny's Crib by Sonny Clark, and absolute fire, especially that horn line.
Absolutely.
And you got some others?
I have a CD. I was so happy to find the CD, folks. It's a keeper.
Christopher Cross.
I love this record.
You know, I do too. I mean, it's not one that I listen to a lot, but every time I do listen to it, I'm like, yeah, you know, this is pretty good.
I have it on vinyl, but it was great to find it on CD, so I could put it on my iMac here and lay it in the store for everybody to hear, whether they want to or not. But you know.
Or I have certain albums like that anytime I put them on, it's just, you know, the neighbors listen to it with me, whether they want to or not.
There you go.
You know, the first Skid Row record, for instance. So this is another one that where the guys just caught lightning in a bottle. So this is Paul Quintet on tenor, Curtis Fuller on trombone, and 2 altos in this horn line, John Jenkins and Sonny Red Kiner. And then the rhythm sections, Mal Waldron, Doug Watkins, and Ed Thigpen. So this is on the Sonny side, Paul Quintet. This is a Prestige album. This is Prestige 7103. And this one cooks, man. Yeah, Luke, you know. Yeah, that's a real early pressing too. So it's a Van Gelder stamp, and it sounds really, really good. This copy of Paul Quintet is an original, the New York label. And then this record is one of those. This is probably when I'm sipping on a cocktail, I like to play jazz rather than yacht rock, but I could totally see it, man. I could see sitting down and enjoying some bourbon with, you know, like the Doobie Brothers Minute by Minute, or you know, some Steely Dan or something like that.
I would think you would enjoy something else with the Doobie Brothers.
Well, maybe. Well, I don't know. Not necessarily Michael McDonald's era, but so this, I think, is one of the most underrated albums in the entire Prestige 7000 series. I mean, this is an absolute smoke show of a record, and nobody in the jazz community ever seems to talk about it. I have no idea why. This is Prestige 7046.
Oh, I love that
Pairing
record.
off by the Phil Woods Quartet. Unfreaking believable, man.
That may have been the first Phil Woods record I listened to.
Oh my God. Phil Woods and Gene Quill on alto, and then you've got Kenny Dorham and Donald Byrd both on trumpets. So, you know, the altos pair off, the trumpets pair off. This thing is just an absolute joy to listen to. This record is an absolute smoke show, and nobody ever talks about it. Like, this is just one of those records that everybody's like, oh, never heard that before. Like, you should. Unreal. And then, you know, it's got an all stalwart rhythm section. Tommy Flanagan on piano, Doug Watkins on bass, and Philly Joe Jones on drums. And then a particular configuration of jazz that I've been listening to a lot lately are trumpet quartets. For some reason, trumpet quartet records never really caught on with people. Like, all of the trumpet quartet records from, you know, the 50s and 60s that are now seen as just absolute essential classics, a lot of those records sold like crap and are incredibly hard to find original copies of, even by, you know, old jazz record standards. You know, fortunately, a lot of them have seen more modern re-releases, so, you know, they're more accessible and they're out there for people that want them. But I'm going to just show a few of my favorite trumpet quartet records. This one was released on the Argo label in 1960. This is Argo 678. It's just called Art. It's by Art Farmer. And the trumpet quartet here is obviously Art Farmer on trumpet, Tommy Flanagan on piano, Tommy Williams on bass, and Albert Heath on drums. And Art Farmer has said many times that actually this is the favorite session he ever did, was this record, and I can see why. It's really, really great. I'm glad that trumpet quartets seem to be more highly thought of today, but it's very clear from you know, how hard and rare those records are that people just weren't into trumpet quartets back then. I don't get it. So here's another great trumpet quartet record, Herbie Hancock's Empyrean Isles. So this has Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, along with the rhythm section, Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, and Tony Williams. So basically 3/5 of Miles Davis's second great quintet for the rhythm section, with Freddie Hubbard blowing his ass off on trumpet. Interesting little tidbit about this record too is that the song Cantaloupe Island, anybody that was listening to pop radio in the early 90s will know Cantaloupe Island from the song Cantaloupe Flip Fantasia by Us Three. The horn line and the piano line were sampled as the sort of foundation of that song. And so the second that you hear Cantaloupe Island, if you were listening to pop radio in the 90s, you'll know what you're hearing. And then this for me is one of the seminal, one of the absolute seminal trumpet quartet records. Again, this one is stupid tough to get, but Lee Morgan Candy. This has Lee on trumpet, Sonny Clark on piano, Doug Watkins on bass, and Art Taylor on drums. And it's funny because the running joke on this record is that the real star of the record is Art Taylor's squeaky ass hi-hat pedal. You can hear it throughout the tracks on that recording session. All I can say is my man should have brought some 3-in-1 oil with him to the studio that day, because yeah, man, there are times where you can hear his hi-hat pedal squeaking clear as day, but it doesn't really take away from the music at all. I mean, you hear it and you're like, oh, wait a minute, what was that? But no, it doesn't take away from it at all. That recording session is absolute fire. On the Riverside label, an excellent trumpet quartet record is this Blue Moods by Blue Mitchell. So this one has Blue Mitchell on trumpet, of course, Wynton Kelly on piano, Sam Jones on bass, and Roy Brooks on drums. This was recorded in New York City, August 24th and 25th, 1960. I believe the album came out in 1961. This one is a little bit on the mellower side, so it's not, quite as fast a tempo. This one's a little more relaxed, and really love it. This is a great rainy day record.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then the last record I've got to show, probably my all-time favorite Trumpet Quartet record. Oh yeah. Oh, I love that one, Luke. Yeah, Herbie Hancock's a legend for a reason, Beth, no doubt. Yeah. And I'm really glad that he's still here with us.
Absolutely.
He and Ron Carter. My absolute favorite Trumpet Quartet record, Kenny Dorham, Quiet Kenny. This is an original, and Kenny Dorham's playing on this is, I understand why they call it Quiet Kenny. It's not necessarily that the music's quiet, because it's not. The music is solidly mid-tempo on a lot of these tracks, but Kenny Dorham's playing is very muted. Like, it's not overly aggressive, and it's not, too soft and kind of drowsy, right? It's right there in the sweet spot. It's just the perfect middle of the road, and you just listen to it and you're just like, wow, man. This record is just absolutely unbelievable. This is, not only is this one of the best, if not the best Trumpet Quartet record ever, it's one of the best jazz records ever, period. This album is just unbelievable.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Did I miss the inevitable Joy Division share since I was late? You did not, Kurt. You did not. I didn't. I got here probably 8 minutes before I started, and then I had to get baby girl some food. And Shawn, do you have any Joy Division you can grab?
I do.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I have one.
Ian Curtis died on this day many years ago, so it's a good day. Good day to play some Joy Division, folks, and to remember
it actually is.
Ian Curtis. Thanks, Kurt, for mentioning that.
I'm looking. Give me a second. It's got to be right here.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks, everybody, for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate it a bunch. I think I'm going to do this tomorrow night and have another guest. It was 42 years ago. Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the only Joy Division LP I have. Pretty sure this is an original, but I'd have to go back and check. But yeah, I've got Closer.
Good record.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love this album. Joy Division is, Joy Division is one of those bands that I do like and I respect. I probably need to dive a little more into their discography. But yeah. Closer is the only one I've found. If I ever find more, early pressings of their records, I'll probably pick them up, because I do need to learn more about Joy Division. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is 66. It's a 1966 pressing, Luke. Yeah.
We wanted to know the price too.
Oh, the price? I'll have to look it up. I'll have to climb up there and get it down. I'm going to show a few records.
Do it up.
Every day is a good day to play Joy Division. I could agree with that. Here's 4 records I'm looking forward to seeing what they sound like. I could go online, but it's just a little fun to do it. Odon Levy.
Ooh,
looking forward to hearing this.
That's
cool. It's a white label promo. Looking forward to hearing that. You're right, Kurt. There's not a lot in their discography. Thank God there's more than the Sex Pistols, though. Hello, Mob C. How are you?
Hey, Kurt, what was the band that the guys from Joy Division went on to form after Joy Division? Didn't they go on to form another fairly well-known band? Or am I thinking of something else?
Yes, they did. Mike.
New Order. That's what it was. Yeah. That's right.
Mike Quattro, another thing I've never heard of, but the cover attracts me. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
You remember I did a couples contest many months ago, and Stevie Nicks, Buckingham Nicks, Richard Torrance. I just got to see if they copied the sound of Buckingham Nicks.
I was going to say, they certainly copied the style of the album.
They sure did.
Yeah.
Love that stuff. Greg Almond.
Yeah.
Johnny Cher Bono. Yeah. Warsaw. Absolutely, Calvin. And Kurt and I have spoken about this. Kim Foley.
God.
Looking forward to hearing this record myself, too.
So, Kim Foley, I don't know a lot of Kim Foley's like stuff that he put out under his own name, but he was a co-writer on a lot of the songs that Skip Batten wrote for some of the Latter Day Birds records. And some of those Skip Batten and Kim Foley songs were kind of novelty. Some of them were really, really good, but some of them were just like, eh. There's one song that comes to mind on their Bird Maniacs album. It's called Citizen Kane, and it was sort of like a tribute to 1930s Hollywood megalomania.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's an interesting song.
Absolutely, yeah. Was that Susie Quattro's brother? I don't know. I listened to it. When I listen to it, and if it attracts me, I'll go and research the person. You got to see my Grateful Dead cassettes. I haven't seen them in a while, and I want to get them out and listen to them. But they are so much fun. That's for sure. Luke, I got to get you the price for that. Lee Morgan. I don't recall it at the moment. That's some of my blue notes that I have for sale. Yeah. What's next, Shawn? Did you bring anything else?
I did not. Although I did want to show a cool cassette that I got from you.
Okay, cool. I'll show another CD while he's grabbing that. Folks, I love this. I love this band. I love this record. I have 2 copies of this on vinyl. One's factory sealed. Laughing Stock.
Very nice.
A band called Talk Talk.
I like Talk Talk.
You can just listen to them online. If Laughing Stock, it's a really good record. And I also found this an autographed Adrian Ballou CD.
Ooh, that's cool.
Which I'm really was excited to find that.
So this one I got from you, and I had no idea this existed, but in the I guess after the release of No More Tears, Ozzy did what was going to be his farewell tour called No More Tours. And of course, 4 years later, he went on tour for the Retirement Sucks tour and then put out Osmosis, which is an Ozzy record that's very near and dear to me. But anyway, I didn't realize that they put out a live album from the No More Tours tour in 91, 92. And it's called Live and Loud. And this was a don't have that one, Calvin. But anyway, this cassette box set is really, really cool. So it's got this metal speaker grate that comes off, right? And then it's got a booklet with, tour photos and stuff like that. And it comes with 2 tattoos as well. And then it comes with 2 cassettes in cardboard sleeves. And these are actually really great recordings, man, from that tour. So this album's a joy to listen to if you like, Ozzy from that period. I mean, I love, No More Tears and No Rest for the Wicked and those records. So, some of these songs, I mean, my God, Zakk Wylde especially, Jesus, he plays his ass off on these tracks. So
was that ever pressed on vinyl?
Don't believe. Actually, I believe it was in Europe, because in 91, 92, people were still buying vinyl in Europe. So I believe there is a European pressing, but I've never seen one. But I don't think it's ever been reissued on vinyl. So
that's what we need for Record Store Day.
I know, right? My God, can you imagine how? Oh God, that'd get people to line up. People would go crazy over something like that.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. Wow. Any final questions? Anybody? Comments? What's today? Wednesday. I'm back tomorrow night.
Okay.
Probably along the same time for Cocktails and Vinyl.
Nice. Who's your guest going to be tomorrow night? Are you at liberty to say?
Oh, it's going to be a big surprise.
Ooh.
So make sure you tune in, folks. And I'm going to share a cool story that happened here Monday in the shop. That's going to tie in.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, Gina, this was so cool. Reminds me of the good music my ex played.
But minus all the ex-boyfriend drama. Yeah. Relationship drama and family drama. Those are the two worst kinds.
I hear you. Yeah, so that's cool. Johnny Marr. I don't understand.
Take it easy, Chris.
Yeah. Hey, good night, Chris. See you soon. Chris posted a cool video. Someone, I know what occurred. Yeah. So someone was asking your YouTube channel name, Shawn.
It's Analog Wavelength TV.
Do you have any content?
Yeah, I got a couple of things on there. Just doing
things, folks.
I think I got 3 now.
3 things, folks.
Yeah, I don't do a whole lot on YouTube. Most of my stuff is done on Instagram. I'm Analog Wavelength on Instagram.
There you go. Wow. I'm cleaning up as I'm doing stuff. So, hey, thank you, everybody. It was fun. Thanks, Beth. You guys know your stuff. We're good at acting.
Yeah, believe me, Beth. We're just BSers. That's all.
If there's something you don't know and we say it like we know it, you think we know it. But right. I just enjoy talking about music. I enjoy listening to it. That's for me. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful night. And
cheers, y'all.
Cheers. See ya. Always love Cocktails and Vinyl. Maybe you'll be a guest with me one night, Adam.